It's graduation season. Students across the country are putting on their caps and gowns, including my sister. And the class of 2019 from Atlanta's Morehouse College were on the receiving end of a graduation present that literally left them speechless. While giving the commencement address to 396 students that made up the historically black all-male university's graduating class, billionaire entrepreneur Robert Smith promised to pay off all their student loan debt. Smith's remarks focused on the importance of community and giving others a helping hand.
We will all be measured by how much we contribute to the success of the people around us.
Smith's gift is estimated to be worth up to $40 million. And Dr. David Thomas, president of Morehouse College, said that his reaction was, quote, amazement, gratitude, and excitement for what this means for our students. And to think that many of these students throughout thought that hearing from Angela Bassett, who received an honorary degree from Morehouse, was going to be the highlight of their day.
I mean, I'm sure that was cool too.
Yeah.
I mean, this is awesome, and it's, I'm sure, literally life-changing.
Yeah.
For a lot of these students. I do want to say, though, Anand Giridharadas, who wrote Winners Take All, and points out that we shouldn't be reliant on billionaires' generosity to have a good, decent society.
Yeah.
Like, we shouldn't be in a place where students are so loaded down with student debt that it is literally life-changing for them to have it relieved. And he also pointed out on Twitter, so this is not my original thought, this is his thought, that this gentleman, very generous, is someone who opposed closing the loophole, what is it called? The one that Trump also supported, the carried interest loophole. That's the one, which would fund 450 size gifts of this nature every year. So I just want to point that out, but I am super happy for that.
That is always important to remember, is that philanthropy is often used to mask, you know, the advocacy of policy, which affects hundreds of millions, rather than, and then they can give gifts to 396 students. We all go, oh,
amazing!
What a great guy.
Meanwhile, they're part of architecting a hellscape for a lot of America.
There we go.
There you go.
I love this take.
Too many progressive Democrats. Congresswoman Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez is something of a legislative superhero. To Republicans, her agenda is the stuff of the Joker. But to DC Comics, AOC is quite literally no Wonder Woman. The publisher behind Wonder Woman has filed a cease and desist notice to Devil's Due Comics over its AOC comic book titled Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez and the Freshman Force New Party Who Dis. DC reportedly urged the independent publisher not to distribute the planned 250 copies of the book that feature a special cover with the freshman legislator wearing a metallic tiara and blue skirt while standing over an incapacitated red elephant. Devil's Due, whose owner Josh Blaylock appeared right here on Rising earlier this year to promote the AOC comic, publishes a number of political-themed comics, including Talk Bernie to Me and Barack the Barbarian. That one I have some questions about. Anyway, despite the challenge from DC, the Wonder Woman-themed AOC books were still available on secondary markets, with one being offered on eBay for a little more than $100. So there you go. I enjoyed very much talking to Mr. Blaylock, and I looked at some of the art, and it looked really cool. So there you go.
Interesting. That's all I have to say.
Okay. What else?
So,
Game of Thrones time. Tell me what
finally.
I will never probably watch to know.
The internet continues to freak out about Game of Thrones, rightfully so. By the time the last night's series finale aired, the petition we told you about last week had reached 1 million signatures. You will recall that the petition asked for the complete rewrite of the final season. Last night was the end of the road for that series that broke records for HBO. Now, spoilers ahead. There are spoilers ahead, replete, so turn off your computer if you have not watched it. Broadly, this episode was a betrayal of the fandom. It was a betrayal of what made Game of Thrones very great. It was a storybook fairy tale ending that made absolutely no sense. Paid no honor. It paid no honor to the original intent of the creator. What made this show incredible was always that evil can win. That sometimes good is not enough. That the realities of the world and the topsy-turvy of politics and life are incredibly difficult, and it turned into a storybook ending of which made absolutely no sense if you've read any of the books or if you've been paying attention, and it's just it's really disappointing to watch it go
should have
this
been
way.
more sort of dystopian. There should have been maybe a triumph of evil over
Yeah, and
good, or
there's-
at least some mixed like vagueness to how it ends.
Yeah,
Something
exactly.
Like that. I've literally never watched 1 minute, so I have no idea what I'm talking
It
about.
literally ends with the titular character walking off into a forest. I don't even know how to
Like
how to
riding
describe.
off into the sunset
Riding off
thing.
into it's unbelievable to watch a great series.
Does everyone agree with you that it sucked?
Broadly,
or-
I mean, if Twitter is Twitter is real life, which I think it must be. No, I mean, if you just watch the show, I'm sure it's fine. I mean, you probably be like, oh, haha, like, but all of the writing on it was so bad, and I mean, we don't have to get into all of it, but it's just that the writing on it made absolutely no sense based on their own writing from previous seasons,
but
and
so
that's what's very infuriating.
Given that I have not invested 1 minute of my time in this series, do you think that it is still worth me like diving in and watching the
Yes,
thing?
it's a phenomenal.
Even with the crappy ending.
Even with the horrible ending, it's a phenomenal journey. I was privileged to be with you all on the way.
Well, and maybe if I start watching it now, by the time I get to the end,
Right.
someone will have like made a better.
Well, they're making a prequel, so I'm sure
really?
they'll be equally terrible.
Of course
but,
they are.
yeah.
That makes sense. There are some other things that the control room decided we're not going to talk about. So
All
we're
right.
done now.
So tomorrow on Rising, he's one of the few economists who actually supports the China tariffs. He tells us why. Plus, Team Rising will be here with their insights.
And a new book reveals President Barack Obama was personally insulted by President Donald Trump's 2016 win. Author and New York Times chief White House correspondent Peter Baker is going to join us to talk about that. He can talk about Biden and the Obama relationship. What's the Obama legacy? That is going to be very interesting. Have a fabulous Monday. We'll see you back here tomorrow.
See you tomorrow.